It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our third speaker of the evening, Mr. Faiyaz Hussain. Mr. Faiyaz Hussain is a corporate attorney and litigator who most recently worked in senior global positions for pharmaceutical companies such as Abbott Labs and Baxter Healthcare, where he led global teams on transactional matters as well as international anti-corruption and compliance investigations. Faiyaz started his legal career working for the law firm of Winston & Strawn LLP. Faiyaz has engaged in multiple pro bono efforts over his career, starting with securing political asylum for a student facing persecution in his native country of Eritrea due to his Christian faith. Early on in his career, Faiyaz also led a team of lawyers on behalf of a Palestinian American in filing an amicus brief before the U.S. Supreme Court on a key immigration matter, and has also worked on a pro bono matter for CAIR-Chicago. Faiyaz currently serves as senior advisor for Muslim Public Affairs Council and has previously served on the board of Muslim Advocates, a national legal and advocacy organization that works on the front lines of civil rights. It's my pleasure to welcome Faiyaz Hussain.
All right, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I've been put in the politicians are speaking in this section. So maybe I have a future career in politics, inshallah. We'll see. I'm joking. I'm never going to run. In any case, my time is short. I'm extremely privileged to be here. And when Ahmed asked me to speak, I was extremely humbled. I'm not on the board. I'm not in any committees. I literally am just an average community member. My wife and I, though, support CAIR-Chicago because it's one of the most strategic, top-tier organizations in our country. And I say that like without any unequivocally. Given that I'm a lawyer, I of course prepared 30 minutes worth of remarks and opening, presenting evidence. I have a lot of friends who are lawyers, and closing arguments, and I had 30 minutes of prep. And Ahmed Rahab, who's walking across the stage, who's very strategic always, said to me, Faiyaz, you have 5 minutes, that's it. So I'm gonna have to compress everything I have to say in 5 minutes. A lot of talk about Gaza. I'm going to let other speakers as well address it. But you know, we think we are in a safe state in Illinois, for example, where we had Delia Ramirez, representative, just speak. But did you know that Illinois was the first state in the US that passed an anti-BDS law? Literally the first state in the US to pass an anti-BDS law. So what they're saying is that if you want to do business with the state of Illinois, if you're a contractor trying to make a living with the state of Illinois, you are prohibited from practicing your work, your livelihood, unless you certify to the state of Illinois that you're not boycotting Israel. Absolutely ridiculous. Yes, it's boo, it's un-American, it's absolutely against the First Amendment. We were the first state. 38 states now have adopted that policy, those laws. Absolutely ridiculous. And now they want to take this to the federal level. They literally want to pass laws and compel executive agencies to say that if you are deemed an anti-Semite, that is, you just criticize Israel, you will have consequences at the federal level. As a lawyer, I don't know what else is the most anti-First Amendment as there is, but it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of money, it takes lawsuits. And CAIR-Chicago is one of the few organizations that actually files proactive lawsuits. They don't wait for defense. They don't wait for us to get jailed, for us to go behind bars. They literally go out and file lawsuits. They recently filed a lawsuit against Canary Mission. It's the #1 organization that doxes our community. What Canary Mission has been doing since 2014, and this is really important, and I want you guys to hear me. What Canary Mission has been doing since 2014 is it compiles data and information on anybody they deem to be anti-Semitic according to their definition, which includes, of course, criticism of Israel. They publish it on a website, and then when employers are doing background searches, if you happen to be on their judged list, you won't get hired. It's absolutely ridiculous. CAIR-Chicago, Ahmed Rahab, Maggie, legal director, thank you for filing a lawsuit. I don't care if we win. I don't care if we win that lawsuit, whether it takes 10 years. What I care about is they filed the lawsuit because Canary Mission is going to think twice, 3, 4 times again before they put somebody on there and defame and slander them. That's what we need. We need to punch them hard and not hold back. That's what we need, and that's what CAIR-Chicago does. You know, America has a history of extreme racism. We are still privileged to be here. I wouldn't want to be doing this work in Saudi Arabia, neither would Ahmed Rahab, or speaking out like this. But still, we have to remember, America treats all its minority communities the same way. Whether you're Chinese, whether you're Latino, whether you're Jews, Italian Americans, Irish American, Catholic churches were burned down in the United States. When John F. Kennedy was running for president, there was a question whether he could be loyal to the United States Constitution because he was a Catholic. What did all those communities do? They stepped up, they fought back, they protested in the streets, and they filed lawsuits. Our community needs to do both. We can't just do one or the other, and that's what CAIR-Chicago enables us to do. Now, the worst of it was saved for, of course, the Native Americans and the African Americans. Their fight continues every day today in the streets and in the courtrooms. You all know Rosa Parks, right? People know Rosa Parks? Rosa Parks was the lady who refused to give up her seat on a bus in Alabama because she refused to stand up and give up a seat that actually was reserved for colored people. She was sitting in the colored people section, but when the white folks section got filled, the bus driver, under the law back then, had the ability to come to her in a colored people section and tell her to please get up and go back. That is how ridiculous the laws were back then. In fact, if the colored people, quote, couldn't even come inside the bus in the front door if white people were seated in the first few rows. They had to pay their fare, get out, and come back through the back of the bus. That's how ridiculous the laws were. Well, what do? They protest, but also NAACP filed lawsuits to fight back and take their rights. Sorry if I'm shouting, but I don't know if people back there can hear me. You know, we all have this image of Rosa Parks as being this old, feeble lady who was tired and just didn't want to give up her seat. I'll do my best to read without my old man glasses. So here's what she said. She said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired, but that isn't true. I also was not old, although some people have an image of me being this old lady. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. The only tired I was tired of giving in." So on behalf of our community and behalf of CAIR-Chicago, I'm here to tell you that our community is tired. The only tired we are tired of being told that we are terrorist sympathizers when all we are asking for peace. I'm tired of being told and being discriminated against, and our Muslim brothers and sisters losing their jobs because they post something on social media that says we stand with Palestine. I'm tired of our kids getting doxxed on streets. Kids at Harvard, the best of our community, are getting doxxed. Their offers are being rescinded, including at major law firms, including my own law firm rescinded an offer because all these students did was try to exercise their First Amendment rights. We're all tired of that. And finally, we're tired of these folks simply saying that if we criticize Israel, that we are anti-Semites. No, we're not. No, we're not. We are simply human beings exercising our rights with humility. We are simply asking them to give us equal rights as citizens. Imagine if you criticized the leader of Saudi Arabia, you'd be considered an anti-Saudi and wouldn't be getting a contract. If you criticize the leader of France, you could do anything you want, but except when it comes to Israel. So at the end of the day, yes, I'm very politically depressed, and if I'm speaking up in an agitated manner, it's because I am depressed. I get up every day, I'm afraid to look at the phone to see what's happening to our brothers and sisters in Gaza. But, you know, as the Hadith reminds us, this is our faith. Even if Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has said, even if you know that the end of days are upon us, even when you know that the day of judgment is upon us, it has been decreed, and you are about to plant a tree, a little sapling, you are asked to plant that. Even then you know that the end of days, the world is upon us. That's the kind of hope that's required of us. It might take 70 years. It might take 100 years, I don't know. But it takes hope, which CAIR-Chicago gives us, and it takes action, which CAIR-Chicago gives us. And that's why my brother Ahmed, from another mother, Egyptian, That's why we are doubling down on our investment in CAIR-Chicago. We love you for the work you do, and you never have to thank any one of us. We have to thank you for everything you guys do. Thank you, and please join me in sowing the seeds, and let's support CAIR-Chicago. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.